People are going to have to decide whether to heat their home or to eat. That's one. The second one was that our government would forsake us by exporting those things that we need, i.e. energy and food, before keeping it here in the United States, where it can bring down the costs and prevent people from having to go to bed hungry. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not going to believe what I have to share with you today. I was going over my emails this morning before I headed out to work, and I came across an email that I am not really upset, but I'm just kind of disappointed that I missed it because it's about a week and a half old or so. And it is from a lady whose husband works for a liquid natural gas or a natural gas utility where they live. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose their name or where they live, but you have to hear what she has to say. I'm going to let you just hear it for yourself. But when I read this email, I was like floored. It's incredible what is going on right now. She says, I wanted to share this. My husband is the superintendent at our local gas utility. Prices have fluctuated up and sometimes down in the last 3 months. At the end of every month, the purchase price of gas is tabulated. Then the customer's bills are calculated based on that cost. So what she's saying is that during the month, during the billing cycle, the price of gas goes up and down, whatever, however much. And then at the end of the month, they take the mean. They take the average of the total that they paid, and then that's what they charge their customers. It's that mean. She says last week, the closing rates for the month literally doubled. And she says he has tried everything within his power to keep costs down. But this month, his customers are going to be hit with much higher bills than the previous. And we live in the South, and actually our temps have not required heat sources at all. So this is going to create much unrest. I'm sure you probably already are aware of this, but just to confirm the following information, I want you to hear this from a wife, from someone who has worked with natural gas for the last 30 years. So this is not somebody there that's working, that's just a rank and file. This is a superintendent of a gas company that has worked there for 30 years. She says, my husband called the national vendor they purchased the natural gas from to see if there was anything they could do to knock that price down. They make deals all the time, she says. And this is what he was told. My husband point blank asked him if we were going to experience shortages on natural gas, and if so, they can purchase reserves at the local level if they see that in the forecast. So he's asking, hey, is there going to be any shortages in the future? Because if there are, I'll go ahead and purchase it now and store it up for the community which we serve. My husband asked him if there was no shortages, then why the expected price hikes? The expected price hikes are superseding the formula they normally use based on cost. The rep went on to tell him, now listen to this, the U.S. has plenty of natural gas, but they are not selling to U.S. vendors exactly what the projected need is. So even though we have plenty of natural gas, they're still selling less than what the projected need is, keeping the prices elevated. All reserves are going overseas for unbelievable high gas prices. So instead of getting our reserves here in the United States up, they're sending it overseas because they're making 3, 4, 5 times as much in prices. The natural gas companies are able to sell the product for 4 to 5 times the price to customers outside the U.S. because they are willing to pay it to have what they need for their counties. It made my husband so mad, he told him that he guessed he was just dealing with a very un-American company. He told him it looks like with all the money they are making off sending all this product overseas, they would be able to keep our prices lower. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reference 2 videos here that I put out in the past a while back. The first one was something like this. People are going to have to decide whether to heat their home or to eat. That's one. The second one was that our government would forsake us by exporting those things that we need, i.e. energy and food, before keeping it here in the United States, where it can bring down the costs and prevent people from having to go to bed hungry. That's exactly what they're doing right now. Some people will say, well, it's the companies, it's the greedy companies that are doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, it's because of our government's policies that these greedy companies are doing this. Airlines, right? Since this was all these cancellations and stuff that happened this weekend, when these airlines got all of these bailout money from the government, meaning that we bailed them out, what did they do with most of that money? They bought back their own stock so that the stock price of their company would go up, and then their executives would cash out those stocks and make huge profits. It is the policies of our government that allow them to do that. And the government, guarantee you that the government knows that this is happening, but they allow it to continue to happen. Why? Because they've made deals with other governments that instead of taking care of us here, forsake us. She continues to write here, the man responded that all major vendors were doing this, and he was concerned because if we had any major problems at all, fire, mechanical, or anything that would disrupt productions, that the U.S. would not be able to meet the needs of our demands. They are not even keeping enough reserves to have a safety net. Our natural gas energy needs, but it gets better. He said no matter what, the promised gas to our countries, to other countries, would be delivered as promised by the vendors. So it was so alarming to my husband that when he came home, he said, go ahead and get that wood burning stove you've been wanting us to get. I'm just kind of like beside myself, even though this is the second time I've read this email. She says, I have been waiting for about a year just to have as a backup, meaning her wood stove. She says, we live in a country and have plenty of trees to give us wood, probably for the rest of our natural life. But he has always told me that that's not necessary and that he's working in this industry for 30 years and there was nothing to worry about. And this news has definitely changed his mind. And this is coming from someone that has been in the industry for many, many years, decades. She says, I felt like this was significant and you may want to share. And thank you very much for sharing this. And my apologies for letting this, sit here for so long before I got to it. But I'm surely glad that I got this. So thank you. She says, for my area, this would give us time to prepare for winter. My husband says he will probably have gas in the winter, but it will be so high that we won't want to start dipping into saving just to pay fuel bills when we can go a different route. And she says that being married to a gas man, I have all natural gas energy efficient appliances and heat sources on all of our structures and property. But we are having a brick fireplace installed and a wood insert stove installed as well. I am also looking into a small wood-burning cook stove and oven that will allow me to cook and provide heat. My husband has helped me prep, but has always done it with the attitude of humoring me. His recent chat with this vendor has certainly changed the way he views the situation. I guess we all have to have that one thing, that one wake up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, like the last video that I put up about when the masses are going to wake up. Just imagine what that's going to be like. But thank goodness that for this family here, both of them, the husband and the wife, the two heads of the households, are now in link together. And they're going to take care of business, from what it sounds like. She continues to say, I am glad he got there, but just hate it took him so long. As long as he got there, that's what really matters. So basically, people that use natural gas here in the U.S., and ladies and gentlemen, not only natural gas, remember that we use natural gas to make fertilizer. So that too. People that live here in the U.S. need to do like you say, have backups for your backups. And she finishes off by saying the U.S. officially has no wiggle room at all if only one little thing goes bad with your natural gas. And I think she's got an update to this. Let me scroll down here. All right, this is part of the same email. She just put a PS in here. She says, the cherry on top of all of this was that my husband's higher-ups told him not to talk about this. They didn't want to deal with unnecessary panic. So basically, again, we see the elites not having to worry about anything. The government selling the proverbial farm and hardworking Americans are left to fend for themselves without one word of warning. They will never tell you what's going on until it's too late, ladies and gentlemen. Or even a shred of information that would help us prepare for what could be a disastrous situation. People have no idea how much natural gas is used, not only in homes, but in major manufacturers and companies. My husband said this would be a catastrophic situation. Everything literally would have to go perfectly. Oh my goodness. And take a look at the last 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. Has everything gone perfectly? No. Oh, and I forgot to mention that they do not allow him to purchase any reserves at all at the local level. So they are at the vendor's behest. So if there was a gas main break or leak, there may not be enough gas to service the area. In the summertime, that's not much of a problem. But come winter, that would be a very bad situation. And this is an email that's a more recent email where she was telling me, hey, look at my email, AP, look at my email. And she said, I sent an email previously. My husband is a natural gas superintendent for a local gas authority. But listen to this. He said he is no longer allowed to buy any reserves in case of an emergency. And that he was told that we only have 6% in national reserves should anything happen catastrophic. Please let me know you got this message. This information comes from one of the largest natural gas suppliers in our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not preparing, oh my goodness, this is not coming from me. This is coming from an insider of the natural gas industry. You have to prepare because things are not going to get any better, at least for the near future. They are not. And winter is right around the corner. Trust me. Winter is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. If you live in one of those states where you really don't need to heat your homes, thank your lucky stars, but a lot of people do. And to those people, make sure that you are preparing. Make sure that you're having a backup to your heating systems and a backup to those backups. Natural gas is used in a lot of things, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, I was thinking about this as I was reading this email. You know, first they try to take us off of energy that's produced with oil. Then they try to take us off of energy that's produced with coal. And now that most places or most like factories, manufacturing plants and stuff, they've switched over to natural gas to try to save the earth, of course. And now that a lot of places have switched over to natural gas, guess what? Now that we don't have the same coal production or that we don't have the facilities that can produce energy with oil that we had before, what do you think is going to happen? Now whoever controls that gas pretty much controls it all. At least in the aspect of industries that use natural gas. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this. I hope that you're preparing for this winter, right? It's not even summer officially. Oh, I think today is officially summer. Today is the 21st of June. I believe today is officially the first day of summer. So it's the first day of summer, and I'm already thinking about winter. And I was thinking about winter a couple of months ago. Well, it was still pretty chilly outside. So I hope you're thinking about winter too, because if you use natural gas in your home, you may want to be thinking just like these good people were and getting substitutes for what you're using now. Having said that, have a great day. God bless every one of you, and thank you very much for your support.
Hello everyone. I have here today in order to ask you one simple question. All the crazy things going on in the world, if something bad happens, if something does not go your way and it becomes too much to take, tell me, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do if the lights go out, if the bars on your phone go down? What you gonna do when the food in your fridge runs out?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival has launched an Alaska Prepper Payday Prep Bucket, and it will be available for the month of June. When you visit the page, make sure to take a look at the nutrition tool that an independent laboratory has developed, and you will see that this bucket is 17 times more nutrient dense than the top 3 leading brands of long-term freeze-dried foods. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't only partner with Nutrient Survival because they have great people, but because Nutrient Survival is the most nutrient-dense, long-term survival freeze-dried food in the market. And it tastes great. So feed your freedom with Nutrient Survival.